What's going on? My name is Dan, and in this video, I'm going to give you a realistic breakdown of how much you can expect to make on Amazon FBA. And I'm going to give you a best case, a likely case, and a worst case scenario with full breakdowns, exactly, how much you can expect to make on Amazon FBA, depending on, what kind of scenario you fall into, right? There's always a best case, a likely case, and a worst case scenario for everything. Now, the reason that I'm making this video for you today is because it's my mission to change millions of people's lives, show them how to start a successful online business, build the best online education platform that actually shows people how to create successful online businesses while also rewiring their mindsets. And so, part of that mission is giving you realistic expectations so that you actually have the maximum chances of success with starting a successful online business with Amazon FBA. Now, also, another reason why I'm making this video today is because there are a ton of people out there just talking shit on the internet, right? They're just talking and they're saying numbers, they're just saying all these random things. And for a beginner, it just becomes very, very confusing and complicated. You don't really know what to expect. You don't know really who is telling you the truth. You don't know what's really going on and if this is something that is worth starting. Now, I first started selling on Amazon FBA in early 2017. And since then, things have changed. Back then, I was completely broke. I was just looking for a way to make money online. Actually, I went on YouTube one day and I typed in how to make money online. And I'm guessing you're smiling right now because that's probably exactly how you started, how you got into this, how you're watching my video here today. And I'm incredibly glad for that because being here, you're part of this amazing movement of people who are also changing their lives around the world, reaching freedom, starting successful online businesses. So you're in the right place. And so when I was in that spot, when I was first starting out, I was also confused. I didn't really know, is it really possible for me at the time to replace my income for my job? At the time, I was making about $40,000 per year. It was like $21 per hour, hourly wage. I was working a corporate job at Scotiabank in Canada, a big bank, and I absolutely hated it. Luckily, I was young and I realized that this was definitely not the way that I should be living my life. There's a lot more to life than just working a shitty 9-to-5 job, than just being enslaved, stuck to a desk in a cubicle, just punching papers, punching numbers all day and sucking up to bosses. I knew that wasn't my life. And so basically I started searching on YouTube, and even though I was incredibly confused, even though I really didn't know what to expect, I saw people on YouTube, people on social media were succeeding with starting online businesses, specifically with Amazon FBA. So I know how you feel right now. I know you are in the exact same shoes that I was. And so I'm going to give you this realistic breakdown so you know exactly what to expect to hopefully motivate you to actually start. Now, before I get into the realistic expectations of how much you can make with an Amazon FBA business, I want to remind you something very important to understand. And you probably already agree with me on this since you're here watching this video today, but the 9-to-5 is the greatest form of slavery that has ever existed on this planet. And it is your duty here today, right now, to start on the journey towards freedom, on the journey towards your dreams. It is your duty to take advantage of the opportunities that are available today to you, to everybody out there who is willing to change their lives, and to basically start a successful online business so that you're able to quit that 9-to-5 job forever. And that way, you're going to have time to actually, provide value for the world through your business, through your own strengths, because we all know that we all have, some kind of strengths to actually give to the world. And we all know that the only way to make money in this world is to actually provide value through a business that plays on your strengths. That is the best way to, really lock in a solid income for yourself and basically make more money than you've ever made in your entire life. That's exactly what I've done. And I've done that through Amazon FBA, through my online education business. So now that that's clear, now that your thoughts and beliefs are fully aligned with getting you towards your goals and dreams and getting you towards freedom, let's actually start with the best case scenario. We're then going to move into the likely scenario and then the worst case scenario so you know what to expect. Now, before we actually get into that, very quickly, let's clarify the starting budget. So, for Amazon FBA, if you want to sell products online on Amazon, you actually have to go out there and buy inventory. And so you're going to go and, the unit might cost $2, it might cost $3 per unit, $5 per unit, $10 per unit. It really depends on the kind of product that you're investing in. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna use the starting budget that I actually used when I first started with Amazon FBA. Now, I wanna clarify something about the starting budget as well. A lot of people out there, they're worried that, people are telling me that it's gonna cost me $1,000, $2,000 to start Amazon, but then other people who are basically naysayers, who are just out there and, they're posting comments on YouTube and they're just basically talking shit all over the internet trying to prevent people from living their dreams. They're saying, oh no, you can't start Amazon, if you don't have under 5K, 10K, 15K. Now, that's partly true, and they're partly right, because if you actually count, let's say, your first 2 orders, your first 3 orders, if you count that, just that inventory, you're not counting the profit that you're making, well then of course it's going to cost more than $1,000 or $2,000, because for this business to work, you have to keep reinvesting into it. You can't just start pulling up profits from it. The point and the goal is to build a real business that will actually pay you passive income for years to come, not for weeks. I always say this, right? There's a lot of people out there that talk about making money today. I'm not talking about making money today. I'm talking about getting started on a journey towards your dreams today, but then locking in a 6-figure passive income within the next few months. And that is the goal. That's just realistic. So of course, you can start with 3K, with 5K. It just depends on the unit price of your product that you're starting with. But the reality is that if you're like a complete beginner, like when I was first starting out, you don't have much of a starting budget to start with. I started with $1,800. That's just how much my first product invoice, cost me, including shipping. So you can start with $1,500, you can start with $1,300. It really just depends, if the product that you're thinking of doing is too expensive, well then find a cheaper product. There are millions of products out there that are great opportunities, and you just have to basically, do your research. So now let's start with the best case scenario. So let's say your $1,800 starting budget, that's how much you start with. Now, let's say that you start today, right now. So, you start learning on YouTube, or, you invest into a course in mentorship, and you start watching the videos. And the first thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be signing up for an Amazon account. That's only going to take a day or 2. But meanwhile, while you're signing up for the Amazon account, and then they approve you within like a day or 2, then you're also, the first step is doing product research. So you're actually starting to find products that may potentially be profitable for you as a first product for your brand on Amazon. And so product research, in the best case scenario, let's say, we're just going to give it a time of 1 week. That's how long it's going to take you. Typically, and this is in the likely scenario, right? This is likely how much it's going to take you to find a good product. It's going to take about 2 to 3 weeks. But let's say in the best case, 1 week. Now that's considering that you're actually putting in a few hours every night after you come home from work, instead of watching TV, instead of, I don't know who watches TV anymore, but instead of, just chilling on Instagram, chilling on social media, watching random YouTube videos, you're actually putting in the work. You're spending a few hours every night, maybe 3 to 4 hours per night, maybe at least 2 to 3 hours per night, doing product research. And so in 1 week, if you do that for 5-6 days, best case scenario, you have a product, maybe even on your first day, but that's obviously, a little pushing it. So 1 week product research. So now we've spent 1 week finding our product, all right? So now it's gonna take another week as a best case scenario to find our supplier on Alibaba or wherever you're sourcing your product from. It can be from the United States, it doesn't have to be from China, right? You can source from all over the world. So 1 week, and I'm attributing that time to actually finding the supplier, negotiating with suppliers, and making sure you're getting the correct price, the right price, and also getting the product photography done, as well as the branding. So like the art on your box, if your product comes in a box, or your logo, or your product, pictures, all that kind of stuff, right? And so we're gonna say that costs us $300 as a best case scenario. And that actually, I would say, is also likely. So we're just gonna attribute that number, $300. And so now we're at about 2 weeks of work done. So at this point, you order the product from your supplier, you place your first order, and as a best case scenario, it will take you 2 weeks for them to actually manufacture the product and then ship it via air to Amazon. We can use air or sea shipping. You might be familiar with that, but I always prefer to use air shipping, especially for your first order, because it just comes so much faster, and it might be a little bit more expensive, but as you know, time is money, time versus money. So obviously, as a first product, you just want to get that into Amazon as fast as possible and actually start selling. And so now we're 1 month into our Amazon journey. We haven't made profit yet because our product just got into Amazon. At this point, it's going to take us about 1 week to start running our launch. So for example, our PPC. And so as a best case, as soon as we start running PPC, it starts getting sales. Now they might not be profitable sales, they might be break-even sales, but like any new business, any new product, you've got to pay to market it at the beginning. You've got to pay to actually get customers' eyes on your product, on your listing, so that you even have a chance at getting those sales. And how Amazon works is that to get reviews, real verified reviews that actually make your listing, like move it to page 1, you need to get sales. And so with the early reviewer program, which costs about $70, that PPC is going to get you some sales, and then you're going to get some reviews. So it's going to take, as a best case scenario, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks to get maybe a few reviews, like 3 to 5 reviews. So now 1 month and 1 week in, we're selling. So our PPC now, best case scenario, is selling well, and we're actually getting sales, and we have our email sequence in the background. Maybe we're doing like a many chat sequence as well. So we're just doing, different launches, and our product is selling. And so very quickly, we move over to 2.5K, 5K, 10K per month in revenue. That's what Jungle Scout would show on our product. So, how much revenue we're making. And as a best case scenario, again, from this 10K, we can expect to make about a 20 to 30% profit margin, maybe a little bit higher. But on your first order, since you don't have those reviews, that social proof that you need to actually get, more sales, more people that are looking at your listing to convert into customers, in the future, once you do your second reorder, your third reorder, then obviously PPC is going to be way more profitable. It's going to be way easier to make sales. And so as a best case scenario, 10K we've made, 20 to 30% of a margin, and sales is obviously depending on the amount of units that you ordered. So maybe 250 units, 500 units, maybe you did 750 units. And now at this point, we're placing our second order as we're running out of stock quickly from our first order. But the good news is that, our product is actually selling well. And we know that if we place a second order, we can place a higher amount of units as an order and get them into Amazon and start selling. Now, the problem is that it's difficult for beginners to actually get the cash to reinvest into the second order. So that's why as a best case scenario, you might have some savings as well on top of that, or you might have access to low interest loans, right? So maybe you have like a low interest line of credit or something like that. If your credit is good, then you can use some of that money to put into your second order because you already have a proven business model. It's already working and the risk is very low. So now the second order comes in, you've got those reviews, so you have, let's say, 5 to 10 reviews on your product, you have 5 stars, at least 4.5 stars on your product, and now at this point, you're quickly going from 10K to 20K to 30K a month in sales at a 30 to 40 to 50% profit margin. And now from the profits of our second order, we're also reinvesting that money into the next order and also reinvesting into growing our brand and expanding into other products that we can sell on Amazon with our brand. So at this point, we have a 6-figure online business with Amazon FBA in profit, and you're making 20 to 30K a month in revenue in only a few months. And then by the end of the year, you expand to Shopify and you scale it to 7 figures. And so that is the best case scenario. So now let's talk about the likely scenario. So I would say that this would apply to most people selling on Amazon. The best case applies maybe to, I would say, 10 to 20%. And the likely case applies to, the rest, so like 80% of people selling on Amazon. So let's say, again, starting with $1,800, now you take about a few weeks to do product research. So instead of 1 week, it's going to take you 2 to 3 weeks to actually find a product. I would say on average, that's how long it takes most people to find a product, closer to, let's say, 2.5 weeks. And now you spend another 2 weeks finding a supplier, negotiating the prices, also getting the branding done, contacting photographers, from different photography services. So now that you've done that, you order the product, and it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to actually get into Amazon. So as a likely case scenario, it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get in. And so at this point, we're 1.5 months in our Amazon journey, haven't made any profit yet. So now our product is in Amazon, and we have to start our PPC launch. So that we might spend $200 on for 2 weeks to actually get our product to get enough sales to get reviews from the early reviewer program. Early reviewer program costs $70, and so on top we spend $70 to $270, and it's something that Amazon does to help us get our first reviews, so they incentivize customers to buy from you. Now, they don't have to be positive, they can be negative, so it's important to sell something that's a good product, something that actually provides value to people, solves a problem in a niche. And so in our first 2 weeks of selling, we're not really seeing much profit because we're just focused on getting those first reviews. Now, the good news is on Amazon, you only need 3 to 5 reviews that are good, so above a 4.5 star average rating, to actually make 5 to 10K a month, depending on the demand in your niche. And so at this point, we're 1.5, 2 months in, and slowly, as we're getting the reviews, as we're spending money on PPC, as we're doing our launch, then we actually start picking up in sales. And slowly we're reaching 2.5K per month, 5K per month. And so eventually we sell out, might take us a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months at the most. That's leading closer to the worst case scenario. And we made 5K of revenue at a little bit of a profit. So the reason why it's a little bit of a profit is because, like I said, a lot of costs go into actually making sure the product gets reviews and all those initial marketing costs of any business, right? And so this way we've made a little bit of profit. So maybe we made 1-2K of profit, and at this point we have to reinvest into our second order. But at least we have enough confirmation that, okay, now we have the social proof, we have enough sales, we can see that there's potential to make more profit, so now we can reinvest into our second order. And so at this point, you reorder, it comes in 3 to 4 weeks, so in about a month, and you hit 10 sales per day with your second order. And you would only reorder your second order, obviously, if your first one went well. So there you go, that is a likely case scenario. And so slowly, as you're getting more and more sales, so you reach 10 sales per day, now you actually can reinvest into your product, and you can start expanding your brand. So start looking for a second product, a third product, and slowly expand your brand to 6 figures per year in profit. And so to reach 6 figures in sales, it will take you likely 3 to 4 months. And to reach 6 figures in profit, it will take you, I would say, maybe at the most, 4 to 6 months. And that's per year. All right, so now let's talk about the worst case scenario, the one that a lot of people worry about and what honestly stops a lot of people from starting a successful online business and living their dreams. So we start with the same number, $1,800. At this point, we start doing product research, and let's say, we haven't found a product. It's already been 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and this is partly because we might be not putting in the effort. We might not be, putting in those hours that are needed. We might be trying to find a product in like 30 minutes, one time a week, and obviously we're not finding anything. And then we order our product, but the product that we order ends up being, too competitive, really bad branding. We don't really put an effort into our branding, and we also don't really, kind of understand and use common sense to know that, like, hey, if we don't really make this appealing to our target market, then how are we going to sell? How are we going to make money, right? So these are just, typical mistakes a lot of beginners make when they don't have the correct guidance, when they don't have the correct information. Worst case scenario, we might even order something that's patented or trademarked. So something that is, a complete waste of money, something that, sets us back time and money and effort, because as soon as it gets into Amazon, Amazon pulls it down because of a patent or a trademark. That's, you can easily check that if you actually, did like a Google patent search, or if you actually knew how to do this. Now, as a worst case, you run into supplier issues, it's delayed, maybe you chose a bad supplier, you don't really know how to choose correct suppliers, so then that's delayed. So now we're maybe like 2 months in. Finally, it arrives into Amazon, maybe 2 months later, you start running PPC, no one's buying it, literally not a single sale. That's probably because your listing is unoptimized and your product sucks, quite frankly. Right? So that's not going to happen if you actually choose something that's valuable to people and that you actually put an effort into branding. Maybe your pictures are bad, maybe your keywords and your bullet points, your title is bad, you don't really know how to do that correctly. Then what happens, to make matters worse, your reviews are bad. So the first reviews that you get, they're bad. So let's say 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars. So that literally brings your sales down to 0, maybe like 1 per day, 2 per day. So it's not profitable at all. And so eventually you're selling 1, 2, 3 units per day. The reviews, continually get better, and hopefully if your product is actually decent, and you end up close to break even, maybe making a little bit of a profit, maybe making, a loss, maybe even having a loss. And so, at that point, then you obviously have to ditch the product and find a new product and really just reevaluate what you did wrong and learn from your mistakes. Now, the good thing is, if you actually fall into this worst case scenario, then you've obviously learned very valuable lessons. You've learned that you need the correct information. You've learned that you can't do this alone. You've learned that Amazon is a great business opportunity. However, you really have to understand every single angle of it, and you have to also know the latest strategies and techniques that actually allow you to successfully sell and really make this a business that you can, have as like your primary source of income in your life. And so the likelihood of success on your second try and your third try increases with every additional try. 99% of people fail before 3 times, like 3 tries. So, when I actually heard that quote, I'm like, you know what? I can push through 3 failures and then I'll probably succeed. That's exactly what happened. I succeeded on my 3rd product on Amazon. I went from 0 to over 30K per month in revenue. And the truth is that these mistakes that I talked about in the worst case scenario, they're easily preventable by investing into the correct course and mentorship, by investing into a program and into a community of people that are supportive and that are all on the same mission, learning from the right strategies and techniques that apply to 2019 and 2020. Now, the truth is, if you start today, you might fall into the likely scenario, the best case, the worst case. It really depends on you. It doesn't really come down to luck. It all depends on you and your choices and your actions. A lot of people, they try to put in the minimum amount of time investment, even money investment, to get a maximum amount of reward. And that's not really how it works in this world. How it works is that, if you really treat this seriously as a real business and you invest in yourself, let's say you join a course, get mentorship, well, then your odds of success are considerably higher. For over 3 years now, I've grown the world's best Amazon FBA training. It's called the Ecom Freedom course, had over 6,000 lives changed, over 6,000 people have joined, and every single person has gone through the course. They took action, not only through the actual portion of the course that teaches you everything you need to know to actually build a successful Amazon FBA brand long-term that actually pays you every single month for years to come. They also have their lives completely changed from the mindset portion of the course, because we all know that, if we really fall into the worst case or the likely case or the best case, it all really comes down to your mindset. How you see the world, how you see your future ahead of you, and how you see your actions today, and the link between your actions now, what you do now, and your future. An Amazon FBA business is one of the best businesses you can start today. It's changed my life, and it can potentially be the key to your dreams, to actually allowing you to reach financial freedom. However, you really have to have correct expectations. If you invest in yourself, chances of success are higher. If you join a course, chances of success are higher. Right? So the price of the Ecom Freedom course currently is at $997. It's 50% off, and it will increase to $1997 very, very soon as I release the new update and the new course platform that I've been working on so hard with my team of developers and designers. And we're really, my mission is to create the greatest resource online for mindset and for starting a successful online business. So I invite you to join the movement. The link to join is down below. And then as soon as you're in there, just say hi in the Facebook group. There's a ton of amazing people in there, including myself, answering questions, helping people out, and sharing our successes. Now, I want you to leave a comment down below telling me any questions that you have with Amazon FBA, any fears that you have with starting a successful online business, your goals and dreams, what you want to accomplish, and I'll be there down there. You can treat this as like a mentorship, and I'll answer every single comment that you actually comment in there. I've been doing this for the past few videos. It's been working really well, especially for the growth of my channel, so I'm very, very happy about that. So just go ahead, leave a comment down below. I'll respond. Other than that, subscribe, like the video, ring that notification bell, and I'll see you soon.